So meditation is the single most transformative practice ever created by humans. It has been proven by decades and decades of Western science to reduce stress, increase happiness and subjective well-being, to even have massive health benefits. And then it's got, thousands of years of saints and sages using it as their primary practice, and just individuals bettering their lives from it. This across all different cultures and traditions. So the question I want to ask is, why is it that we don't meditate more often as individuals and as a society? How come we brush our teeth every day, but we don't meditate every day? And I think there's some simple reasons. I'll go over probably the most common myth, and then there's a more kind of profound metaphysical reason. The simple kind of myth that happens is that people misunderstand that meditation is not about clearing your head. It's about changing the relationship you have to thoughts, sensations, and emotions. So, for example, if you, in the moment, suddenly find yourself thinking about work, it's not like, oh crap, I just screwed up my meditation because my head's not empty. It's rather you just observe it and let it pass by. And this is profound because you start to disidentify with that subjective experience. So you're no longer that thought. And let me give you another example. If it happens with emotion, like suddenly you find yourself angry. Well, if you've practiced meditation, you can pop out and look at anger as an emotion instead of as a subjective identity of who you are. And now you have choice. And that's what's so beautiful about awareness, is that it gives you choice. So you can decide, do I want to be angry? Sometimes you can't decide that, but you can decide at least, how do I want to express what's happening right now? Whereas beforehand, it just expressed through you. So that's what makes this such an amazing practice from a day-to-day basis, is you can actually apply it constantly. And you can see how it's really, really difficult to actually clear your head. And if you think that's the purpose of meditation, then you're going to be pretty frustrated. Now, there is a more metaphysical reason, I think, why meditation isn't more commonplace. And it is. It's growing a lot. And I love that. It's so exciting. The times that we live in, that we have a clinical term, mindfulness, for it. And that it's coming into public schools, and that we're seeing, yes, this is not some like Eastern invasion, but it's actually a part of our it's a part of the Bible. Meditation is a word that's used over and over again, and all of the kind of Christian saints talk about their meditations. And Jesus talks about going off into the woods for 30 days by himself. And I just messed that up. But anyway, the threat that meditation poses to the ego by the very nature of changing the relationship to thoughts is incredibly profound. Right now, most people identify with what they think. And to disembed yourself from that, as powerful and helpful and healthy as it can be, is a massive challenge to who you are. Mostly the fighting is unconscious, but I know I can tell you from having meditated every day, more or less, for 10 years, for about an hour, that for the first 5 or 6 years, every day was a bit of a battle. Like I would have to yoke myself to my discipline and to my commitment, remind myself, why am I doing this every time? It wasn't like automatically. And I think it's because that threat is just so large. It's really deep. Eventually, through rigorous, continuous practice, people consistently report experiencing an overwhelming identity of oneness, of that witness capacity of watching what is expand. So it's like, who's watching the watcher? And who's watching that? And it keeps going back until there's nothing that comes before it. And it's just pure subjective experience. And that thing, pure subjective experience, is actually in every single one of us. And is in every little proton. There's some kind of proto consciousness that exists, and so people begin to actually recognize the universality of subjectivity in everything. And it sounds wonderful, and it is wonderful. And it's a massive threat to being a separate, contracted individual. And we can talk about the, the benefit of that to the ego in other videos. I want to go ahead and wrap up and just say, I really encourage you to try meditation. And I encourage you to just start small, start easy, 5 minutes, 3 times a week. And then you can slowly ramp your way up. More times a week, more time, and you find what works for you. Not everyone is going to do an hour-long meditation every day. Just find what works. Thanks.